Welcome to Bet On It. I am Kelly Stewart, your host tonight. We're going to break down this week's NFL card with VR, Gianni, the Greek gambler, at Greek_gambler on Twitter. And what did that guy call you on Twitter the other day? Something about a big squishy clown?
Pudgy.
Pudgy.
I'm a pudgy clown.
TPC, I like it. That's your new nickname. Marco D'Angelo. I like it, Mr. Clown.
You've gotten trim of late. You've lost some weight.
That's actually not true. Don't lie to me.
No, he has, haven't you? Am I right?
He has.
Dr.
Kelly, you weren't on board yet. I was VR's known me for a long time.
Marco's heavier.
I'm a pudgy clown because last week I gave out Jacksonville on the show as a play. It's the Sunday show went 4-1 with my plays.
I was going to say, is that the only game you lost?
Then we lost the Monday night game with the Rams.
Yes.
So we ended up 4-2 for the week. But whenever he called me the pudgy clown,
I saw this Twitter. Because you made him change his bet to Jacksonville.
Yeah, he had the other side.
And that's
grown men, seriously, grown men and women. No one takes the money out of your pocket.
That's not true.
I've never
had a woman
anyone,
tweet me and blame me for my losing.
I get more information from people than most.
She texted me after I gave her a loser.
That's all
She's
in good
worse
fun.
than a paying customer.
That's all in good fun.
I've never, ever.
You've said
Thanks,
it before.
Marco.
People need someone to blame. Pudgy clown.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I just couldn't imagine feeling that I actually give someone that they have that influence on me. That someone's going to influence me that much. They're going to decide for me what I'm going to put my hard-earned money on.
You have to remember,
that's
though,
crazy.
we just kind of talked
Maybe
about.
if I was a child.
Well, no, but we just talked about this in the college football show when I said that I didn't like being opposite of you, and I laughed because I'm opposite of Marco here and there. I understand that you are more privy to information. Here, to be honest with you, it's Kelly versus Marco because it is Kelly's work versus Marco's work. So there is a little bit of competitiveness.
Sure.
That is guys who have won long-term over the last 30 years.
Right, yeah.
And that's what scares me. It's not VR's opinion. That's why I asked you on the
and
game.
I totally respect that. And it's true. It's the sources of information. I always say it all the time. My opinion, I have opinions for everything.
Yeah.
If I'm not backing it with my money, I wouldn't put too much stock in my opinion. You know what I mean?
All right.
And I'll back it with money because I trust these guys that I work with.
And absolutely, I hate being opposite of that. Okay, we're going to get started with this week's primetime games. That's right, Sunday and Monday night football. I already bet both of these. Okay, great. New England -3 at Houston, total 44.5. Marco, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I'm going to go TPC, baby.
Okay,
Let's do it. I'm going to look at the total in this game, and everybody's making all of the fuss about New England and what's happened to the offense all of a sudden.
Tom Brady can't throw the ball more than 5 yards.
Okay, let's just stop. First of all, they played 2 weeks ago. They played Philadelphia on the road on a Sunday night game. Philadelphia, and I was on them, full disclosure, last week, but they did hold Seattle to 17 points, okay? And really, they held them to 1 touchdown because one of the touchdowns was on a defensive score. The last week, New England played it was windy and rain in Foxborough, okay? And they didn't score. It was bad weather conditions. Let's not overreact to Tom Brady. Prior to that, they scored 20, 27, 33, 35. Now they're going to be facing a Houston team, much worse defense. Houston's had the luxury of a couple extra days of prep to come up with a game plan against Dallas because they played against New England because New England played on Sunday. They played on Thursday. I think you're going to see points up and down the field. Don't worry about Tom Brady and such. They get the most out of what they have. That's what's made the New England Patriots who they are. They win games. I don't like the side either way in this one, but I do like the total. I think it's over-adjusted to 44.5 because of the overreaction to the last 2 games of the Patriots.
That makes sense to me. VR, have your groups played anything, or do you have an opinion?
No. Yeah, actually, the New England side at -3, one group did. They bet New England right away at -3, which is surprising because, as I've been complaining here for how long, historically, we've been opposite New England. And because I don't have a choice in what they bet into accounts or asked to be bet, I got to take a percentage of it, and I end up fading New England more times than I'd like to over the past number of years. So to see them on New England's refreshing. Now, is it a legit move? Time will tell, because remember, it's on that key 3. And 3 at minus 110, if it goes to minus 120, 125, 130 is a big difference, especially since the next move is to 3.5. So, again, we'll find out in a couple of days if it's legit. But I agree with it. Again, I'm not going to fade New England by myself. I know I've been doing this for a very long time. And in my lifetime, there's been a couple of outliers we've seen. I've seen it on Floyd Mayweather over a 10-year period between 2005 and 2015, where you could have bet him and went 20-0 and just kept rolling that money over. He was not going to lose. He was such a prohibited favorite, even compared to what the betting line was. It was free money. And New England's been that. They've outperformed the betting market, even with sportsbooks telling you they're adding a premium. This is an odds makers telling you New England should be a 3-point favorite, but I'm going to make them minus 4.5. And the book's saying, you know what? No, we're going to open them at 5.5. So they already think you're getting 2.5 more. You're laying 2.5 worse with New England. And they're still over 60% a decade. So you don't fade this team. You just don't, dude.
Okay, real quickly, talk to me about the Monday night game, Minnesota at Seattle.
I like
Seattle
your over too,
3.
Marco.
Total 49. I already bet the Vikings plus 3. Your thoughts on this one?
Agree 100%. All this talk, like Seattle now all of a sudden their defense is better. Come on, this has been a defense that's been regressing since the Legion of Boom. That ain't there anymore. So please, it's just they've had a couple good breaks on the defensive side of the football. They're offensive minded. That's all there is to it. The offense has to have success, and I don't think they're going to have it against Minnesota, and that's going to become a problem. I like the Vikings here. I think the Vikings win this game outright. No reason to even take. I think the plus money is more attractive than even the 3, believe it or not. I think Seattle loses, yeah.
All right, Marco, I love Coach Zimmer, but he hasn't really done historically well coming out of the bye. Usually it's going in. He didn't cover against the Broncos going into the bye. I'm hoping the opposite result happens here versus Seattle. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to open myself up to some Twitter talk again, because I'm going to step in front of Seattle for a second week in a row.
Yeah!
The stock couldn't be any higher on Seattle right now.
I'll
okay?
be a clown with you, pal.
Look at this spot here. Okay, they held Philadelphia to 9 points. First of all, Carson Wentz, can we stop about he's the franchise quarterback? He has not progressed, okay? Granted, yes, they've got offensive line problems, and he had no time to throw last week. But still, when he did have a chance to throw, he's overthrowing receivers.
Well, he had 4 receivers I couldn't even name. I had to Google.
They wouldn't have won that Super Bowl without
Seattle right now is the stock's too high. They're not as good as they are. This is a team that's ranked 22nd defensively. 22nd. They're allowing 6.0 yards per play. Only 2 teams have failed to score 20 points or more against them this year, and one of them was last week, Philadelphia, and the other one, amazingly, was earlier in the season. I'm sorry, it slipped my mind who it was, but it was one of the bad teams that they faced.
When things fall their way.
Yeah, this is a spot I'm taking
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
About the Bucks when they missed the field goal and then
No, they scored a ton on them. That was the overtime game. Yeah. And here's a stat. I like to use league-wide stats. Over the last 5 seasons in the NFL, if you play on road teams, that'd be Minnesota, after failing to cover the spread in 3 of their last 4 games in the month of December, 41-15 league-wide against the spread, taking Minnesota in that situation. So
Did
I'm
Ralph
on the
Michaels
Vikings.
give you that one?
He did not, but I'm sure he'll double-check it later.
That's good. I'm going to ask him to do so. Thank you, guys. Great stuff. We're going to step out for a quick break. When we return, we're going to dig inside those numbers as we look at which NFL games have moved the most and why. That's up next on Bet On It.
Get $25 in wager bucks added to your account after your first purchase at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. This is just our way of saying thank you for joining the Wager Talk and Sports Memo family.
Did you know every Tuesday is $2 Tuesday at wagertalk.com? We pick the hottest handicapper and offer his best bet for just $2. This is a great way to introduce yourself to the winning handicappers at wagertalk and sportsmemo.com. Okay, guys, it's that time. We're going to take a deep dive into some of these lines that have moved. As I always explain every week, the Westgate here in Vegas puts out the NFL lines about 12 days before. They call them the look-ahead lines, and you can actually bet next week's games before this week's games are even played. Once next week's games are played, the lines are going to change. the question I always have for you guys, is it justified or is this an overreaction? So we're going to start a couple Thanksgiving games. Chicago at Detroit. Detroit -1.5 VR. Now Chicago -2.5. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at this going, no way.
I was surprised, and one of the groups I provide accounts for actually bet it. They bet Chicago and actually got him at -2, so didn't bet him very early, which is a little bit surprising to me also. So I don't really know what to say about this game. Personally, I don't think it was really that justified. But the fact is, Detroit's just burning through money. I mean, when's the last time they've covered a game? It was
Neither of them have done
Halloween,
well.
you know, so yeah.
I mean, Chicago's 1-6 in their last 6. Detroit, like as you mentioned, they
nothing too attractive, but for them to get
0-6 in their
steamed,
last
I don't understand it either. But it is sharp money. They got out ahead.
Are they banking that Driscoll's not playing and that Stafford's going to play? I mean, I've not heard definitively.
Well, it wouldn't go that way if Stafford was going to
You would think, exactly.
So that's what I mean. Are they trying to get out ahead, hoping it is Driscoll?
Yeah, well, the bottom line is Detroit lost to Washington. Okay?
Okay, but
That's
Washington
true, too.
is still is an NFL football team.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true. Coming off
It's
losing
not,
to
it's not
Washington.
Alabama losing to Western Carolina, okay? It's the Detroit Lions losing to the Washington Redskins.
Haskins a quarterback.
Okay. All right. Next up, Marco, your turn. Thursday night. I'm going to probably be asleep for this game, I hope. New Orleans at Atlanta.
In a turkey coma?
I hope so.
No, I will be on about my probably 5th plate by the time this game starts. Okay?
All right. We're not.
All right,
Dr. Kelly
turkey
is out.
sandwiches. Put a little cranberry sauce on top. Stuffing.
This one's now 7, and of course it is Atlanta.
Well,
the love for Atlanta finally died when the Bucs
Yeah, it was
won that game.
2 weeks
Yeah.
of drinking the Kool-Aid, and then you
Seriously.
realized that it was just pure cuck.
Oh, that's it, last
It
week.
was just-
Let's look at
it's like-
the whole
yeah.
season and not the last 2 weeks.
Exactly. So no, the line isn't just the line move isn't.
It
this
is
is
what it
still
is.
a
what
big
it's
rivalry game.
It's a rivalry game, and if Atlanta's going to show up for any game, this is going to be the game they're going to show
mean,
up.
they
And that's
just
one
beat
of the
'em.
and that's one of the reasons last week that I broke my vow of not betting Tampa Bay again, and I went with Tampa
Yeah.
Bay, and we got the money because it was a bad spot for Atlanta. But it's a little bit of an overreaction. 7 on the road here might be a bit much.
Yeah, because they
this has
already
been-
clinched, right? The NFC South.
But they're
New
fighting
Orleans
for
did,
they're
too.
fighting for home field, and they want to try to get that home field because they don't want to go.
That's
to San
in that dome,
They
yeah,
don't
of
want to go to
course.
San Francisco.
All right, VR. Green Bay at the New York Giants. Green Bay opened a 7.5-point road favorite, now down to 6.5 after they got spanked by the 49ers on Sunday.
I don't understand it. I really don't. And here's why. I don't know any of the groups that steamed this one. Obviously, I don't have access to everyone out there.
You
but
don't?
there is sharp money that's behind that. It's not an adjustment for Green Bay losing because these are the New York Giants, and there's going to be a ton of Green Bay money. Green Bay gets
ton.
bet
So
every
why-
week. They
so
get
why
bet
move it through
regardless.
7?
But when they're playing a bad team, they get bet even more. If they're in the teaser range, they get bet even more. I mean, everything points to Green Bay being a ton of exposure for the books, and the line's moving the other way. I mean, it's sharp. I don't think it's justified.
All right, you mentioned Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay went from being a 4.5-point underdog at Jacksonville. Now just a 1-point underdog at Jacksonville. I'm not backing Tampa Bay.
This is the perfect spot where Jameis Winston usually will come in and throw
Throws
A couple of them.
interceptions.
Yep,
He'll throw
yep.
4 interceptions in this
Yep.
game. Right now, nobody wants
He
Jacksonville.
threw one in the first minute last week, Marco,
Oh,
and all I
but-
can think about is I hate you so much.
I
And then at the end of the game, I was like, "This is why I love you. This is why we have this love."
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Jameis."
yeah, yeah.
How many F-bombs did you drop after he threw the interception?
That very first
Go
one.
Jameis.
Well, I was already pretty heated at work, so it was
Yeah.
it was like 8,
Yeah,
and
okay,
it wasn't just one. It was a you have to be kidding me.
Yeah.
It was like I walked upstairs in the green room and there was interception. I'm like, I quit. I'm just gonna quit permanently.
Yeah, Jameis Winston,
the
he's
side, dude.
but nobody wants them this week. Note, the last 2 games, they had Nick Foles back. Everybody was excited. He's back and everything, and they laid eggs. But both those games were on the road. I'm going to give them one shot at home. I don't think this is justified. 3.5-point move. Right. Nobody's as good as their best game. Nobody's as bad as their worst game, and that applies here. This is a way too much of an adjustment.
Absolutely. All right, VR. The Bengals got there last week somehow and covered against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was -3. Cleveland's headed to Pittsburgh. Cleveland is now a road favorite. GTFO. There's no way I'm buying the hype there.
I don't see it.
I'm looking at the current line.
It's Hodges at quarterback, so I can
+2.
understand the attraction to Mayfield, but it's still
We
the
saw
Pittsburgh
Devin
Steelers.
Hodges play.
Hodges might be better than Rudolph.
That's what I mean. There may be that argument, but what I'm saying is, I could see why the line's moving towards Cleveland, because Cleveland finally got past that hump. Remember, Pittsburgh's owned this team. And just a few weeks ago on primetime national television, we watched Cleveland break that cycle and actually beat Pittsburgh. So I could see why the confidence in Cleveland. I don't think there's value in Cleveland.
They put up 40-some points last week.
Exactly. So I could understand it. And I think the books are going to end up needing Pittsburgh. So to me, yeah, it is warranted and justified, because myself as a bookmaker, I sure as hell would rather people be betting me Cleveland -2 than Cleveland +3.
Absolutely.
Take them at +2 or 3, you know.
All
So
right.
I'm surprised they're not -3 already.
And they may get there. New England at Houston. New England opened as a 4.5-point favorite, now down to -3. Marco.
Oh, total overreaction, in my opinion, and I'm
But
surprised.
as VR said, though,
It's New England, yeah.
they're trying. The bookmakers are trying to do anything they can to entice money on the other side.
I know. It
They're
makes no
begging
sense
for
to me,
it.
dude. This is...
It doesn't, because you know people are still going to bet. The public's still going to bet New England. So the fact that they brought it down to 3 makes you wonder, and is Houston live here? And they're going to remember the last road game that New England had, and they got smoked.
Yeah,
But
prime
that
time
was
home dog.
But it was Baltimore. You can't
Oh,
even.
no,
Yeah.
the Eagles game was after, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
the Eagles game, but you can't compare. I
Okay.
just, and Bill O'Brien versus Bill Belichick. That's an absolute. That is a mismatch.
It is really hard to take Bill O'Brien ever, any point in time ever. Okay, VR, I'm going to start with you. It's time for our teaser segment. Now that we went through inside the numbers, teasers absolutely crushed last week.
That's it. Just keep teasing the right numbers. That's
Really what it is,
That's
right?
all
And
you
you're
gotta
looking
do.
for
That's
two-team,
all you gotta do.
6-point teasers unless we otherwise state, -120.
Yep.
You're up first.
Unless you're trying to get more money on a position you really like because the line moved on you, that's the only reason you should be betting teasers, because you're playing plus EV advantageous teasers. I found one for this week, and we're going to go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we just touched on, because we're getting them through that key 3, through that key 7, 2 key numbers there, and we're going to tie them with another team I like, and that's Monday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings, who I don't think will lose by more than a touchdown if they do lose this game, which I don't think they do. So getting them past that key 7, we're going to get them at +9. I think that's okay. So Pittsburgh, Minnesota for me, Marco.
Really quickly, just because I had this issue come up, ties lose teasers, do you stay away from them?
Yeah, for sure.
I had a guy that wasn't posted. I threw a monster fit on Sunday. Needless to say, I got.
For sure. It's hard enough to beat them if you have
but
rules against you.
But so people just need to be wary when they're betting with their local guys and or certain
Yeah, what the
casinos.
rules are, always.
Just wanted to make that note. Marco, your
Good point.
teaser.
All right. Well, I'll start with Denver plus the points. We've got Jelly Arm, Phillip Rivers coming in here, and you know
Are
he's.
you laying points with Phillip Rivers on the road? I'm not rushing back the Broncos. I like them in your teaser, but you're going to
can.
lay points with them on the road?
But they can win this game. But do you ever see them getting separation from a team right now?
No.
They're going to run the football. If they run for 220 yards, then maybe they win this game, by more than 10 points. But I'm teasing it up. And you look at the total. This is one of the lowest totals on the board. And we always talk about the correlation between the totals and
get extra
taking the
points.
points. And the other one, I agree with VR. I'm on Pittsburgh. You have to tease them up. And remember, you're getting a team. We're teasing them up over a touchdown.
In a rivalry game.
In a rivalry game that a week ago they were the favorite.
And they just got bonked over the head in proverbial
Favored on the road.
fashion.
And
No
both,
less.
and both teams won last week.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's a 5-point difference between Rudolph and
No
Hodges?
way. No chance.
Oh, I think
What's
Hodges
it
is
between
better.
Ben and
I think-
Hodges?
I think-
14?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think Hodges is a better
That's
quarterback.
ridiculous. Yeah, it makes no sense.
All right, well, time for us to take a quick break. When we return, it is time for the Steam Game of the Week from VR. And Marco, is the deli back open?
No, we're trapping. It's hunting season. We're setting a trap.
Trap game in the NFL. I can't wait.
Looking for more NFL betting info? Then tune into the presidential address each week when Wager Talk's own Lawrence Presman, the Prez, along with Ralph Michaels, break down this week's entire NFL card. The show is available every week exclusively at Wager Talk TV. If you like betting on horses, be sure to check out wagertalk.com's own Sig, who zeroes on one racetrack at a time, offering his handicapping skills. Visit his homepage daily for his top selection in each race free. If you want all his selections for that track, you can get his full racing report for just $9.
Welcome back to Bet On It, where I'm always in trouble for pointing with my pen. It's time for probably one of our more profitable segments. I really enjoy this one. It's been doing really well. VR is going to give us his Steam game of the week. Marco's either going to bring us sandwiches from the deli or a rare trap game. And the little birdie told me today that the deli is now closed. It made too much money.
No, we're eating turkey, so we can't.
He's got to set traps for the turkeys.
I figured the delicatessen owner went on vacation because he just made so much freaking money this year.
9-3 with this segment.
I love it. I'll let you start first, Marco. Let's go to the trap game of the week.
All right, for my buddy out there, happy Thanksgiving from the Pudgy Clown. I'm going with Jacksonville again, and I know that, I know it's not going to make you happy, but I have to do it this week, and we're looking at it. The world is running to bet Tampa Bay and Jameis Winston. Of course they are. Okay? All right. Now, you saw what the opening line went from. I mean, the look-ahead line, it's insane. It is insane. And I'm taking the value with Jacksonville. Yes, this looks like a team that quit last week. But, guys, this is the first home game since Nick Foles has come back. If they're going to show up, this is the one. They're going to do it. They're playing another team from the state of Florida, Tampa, Jacksonville. I'm going to go with Jacksonville here. I'm going to look for Nick Foles. Anybody can move the football against this Tampa Bay defense. And we know Tampa Bay can throw the football and they can move it. The question is, which color jersey does Jameis Winston throw it to this week? Well, after that monumental win last week on the road against Atlanta, now they're stepping down in class. I see Jacksonville pulling off the win here. I can't call it an upset because they're a 1-point favorite, but man, this is a trap. If you're falling for Jacksonville and Jameis Winston, don't do it and hide your crab legs.
Hide your crab legs. I also, it looks really square, but the over in that game looks so easy. The Bucs are 10-2, their last 12 to the over. All right, VR, you are up next with the freight train.
Freight train.
All right, we're going to bring some steam. Off a winner last week. Let's keep it rolling. Going to go with a total on Thanksgiving Day. Buffalo, Dallas, take advantage of that recency bias. Wise guys on both sides of this one.
Really?
Some groups like +7, others like -6.5. And you're seeing a lot of that this year where groups are disagreeing, and it's not even setups. It's just two groups disagreeing, especially this late in the season. No one's setting up NFL. And even a lot of the college, that's just not what's happening until the bowl games get here. But real quickly, we're going to go over the total. Again, that recency bias. The perception is that Buffalo's a great defensive team. When you play Miami twice, Washington, Tennessee, Cleveland, yeah, you're going to look good defensively. Now they're going up against Dallas. I think Dallas will be able to score on them at home, and I think Buffalo put up their fair share of points as well. We went over 44. I think it's still around 44.5, 45.
Yeah.
I think there's still value there. I like the over.
Quick question for you, Ace.
Yes,
this is
sir.
a good handicapping lesson for the viewers. As you said, you got one group on 6.5, another group on 7. Pure and simple, this is how we talk. This is when we talk about betting numbers and not teams. The people that took the 7, they're taking the touchdown.
Exactly.
And the ones that are betting,
two completely different bets.
Yeah, you're playing the number, getting under it. And then you said earlier that they got on the New England. I think they got on the New England because that's the lowest you're going to see this number. There's no way this number.
10, yeah.
There's no way the number goes to 2.5.
No, so
not involving a New England team.
If they want to set themselves up,
they're taking the position, waiting to come back. And even if the number, and that's something that you know more about, even if the number doesn't move off of 3, a lot of times the VIG's going to move.
Exactly.
And then they're able to get a free number at.
There's a lot you can do if that happens.
With the manipulation. And
I agree.
As we move forward with the show, telling people that as the games narrow down, plus when we do the playoff editions, we're going to have more time to talk about handicapping concepts and break things down. And that's why we want to tell people, like we've been doing in the college segment with the questions. This is how we make people better handicappers so that you can do stuff on your own, and then a pudgy clown doesn't make you. It's even
more important than giving a winning pick.
Take you off a winner and put you on a loser. I get that. The word. Kelly,
I think you should just say, I respect Marco so much. I'm disappointed that I respect him so much that I got off the Titans and onto the Jags.
And didn't play his other 4 games that won.
I don't get it.
But Kelly, there's a phrase, gambler's mentality. We all have it. It's in our blood. And we're that way. When we like a game and we get off of it, maybe because we don't like the pattern of the line move, or we waited 6 hours too long because we were trying to get that number at the peak, and then we lose a number, and then we said, well, okay, I can't bet this game now. And then you see the game win anyways, but you did the disciplined thing.
Well, that's what I did with the Eagles this last week, right? Okay. So I had Eagles -1. I bet it on Thursday, and sure enough, all of these injuries come out.
I bet it at +2 on Sunday.
And I literally was like, do I lay one with Seattle and just get off this? And I literally was like, watch this game end in a tie, and I middle myself, which is like highly unlikely.
But sometimes you just got to eat it.
And that's just what I had to do.
Yeah.
I just had to eat it, and it sucked. And the whole time when Seattle was dominating, I was angry at myself. But you're right, Marco. There are times where people start to overthink things, and you just have to stick with what you know is the best thing to do.
Sometime we're going to have it, and you alluded to it about, if you beat the closing number, your long-term, you're going to be a winner. Absolutely. But you know what? There's times that I would rather have a ticket that has a bad number, but it wins. And that's a discussion. Where do you draw the line on those ones where, okay, I missed a number, but I still like this game that it's going to cover at that number. Do you play the bad number?
I don't have a problem passing. I think as a bettor, that's one of my greatest advantages, that I could step back and say, I don't have to bet it. I really do. I've really grasped that, because I showed you the bets we put in one account on a Saturday. 46 bets. There's a lot of volume. I move a ton of volume, and you're going to have so many swings betting like that, so you have to be able to narrow that down.
And I'm sure some of those 46 bets were one side on Tuesday or Wednesday,
and the opposite
on Friday and Saturday.
Later. Of course.
Especially with totals.
Of course, 110%.
All right, guys, great stuff. Let's bring in our resident stat man, Ralph Michaels. Since I left him no time for TNA during college, I'm going to give him extra time in the NFL. Ralph, I can't wait to hear what you got dug up for us this week. TNA, Ralph, my man. I'm calling Ralph on Sunday, frantically looking for Thanksgiving TNA, and he came up with some really good stuff. Do you have any of that to share today?
I didn't.
That's okay. Basically, the Cowboys don't cover, and favorites just
the Cowboys, I think, are 2-7, but they covered their last 2.
Right.
So it depends which way you look at it, and that's the way trends are. You can say, the Cowboys are 2-0, perfect 2-0 the last 2 years, or they're 2-7 the last 9 years. And, let's start off with a trend that is going to screw some people up, because there's a trend against the Raiders and on the Raiders, but there's also more. And again, the feedback I got, which is awesome, is people like when we help them handicap. Not just pulling out one trend that has 10 specifics that no one can follow, and maybe it's a 90% trend, but situations that help them handicap
throughout
further.
The NFL season,
absolutely.
Which are great, and to look at for years to come.
So, double-digit home favorite if you beat the foe by 10 or more in your last game.
Okay.
So you're playing, you've already taken care of this foe, you beat them by 10 or more, now you're a double-digit home favorite like Kansas City is. Actually 28-11, 72% since 2015. Okay. Now, I say that because people can use that further.
Right.
I'm going to give you an opposite one that actually says play on Oakland. When teams are embarrassed in the NFL, they usually bounce back.
Okay.
Since 2013, if you play on a team on the road that's off a loss by 29 or more points, 2 teams lost last week by 29 or more.
Okay.
Oakland lost to the Jets.
Yep.
And Green Bay lost. Those teams on the road off a 29-plus point loss, 28-16, 64%. So not great, but an easy trend to know when NFL teams get embarrassed, they tend to bounce back. Week 9 on. 2 teams, win percentages of 70% or higher. 2 elite teams. Doesn't happen very often.
We only got 2 of them anyway.
When one of them's a home favorite of 3.5 or more, like Baltimore is, the home favorite has gone 19-10, 65.5%. So elite teams have done well. And division, you're playing a division foe. You're a favorite of 7 or more, and you have revenge against that foe. Since 2012, those teams have gone 29-15, 65.9%. That is New Orleans against Atlanta. So
On Thanksgiving,
it's a
okay.
division foe. The division foe is a favorite, and they have revenge from a previous loss. So 65%. And then one more, I just want to remind people, second meeting of a division foe.
Okay.
We mentioned this, that it's unders, and I just wanted to have the numbers.
So Broncos, Chargers this week, Kansas City, Oakland.
For the next 4 weeks,
for
we're going to
the
have a ton of them.
Okay.
Just anytime you are playing a division foe the second time, it doesn't matter who's home, it doesn't matter who's away.
Oh, really?
You have familiarity.
Okay.
You have teams that already played each other. You already game planned once. Since 2015, if you just played every second meeting of a division rematch, it's 54.1% to the under, 198 over, 233 under. So that's just a plain 54%.
That's just blindly.
If the second meeting, the team that lost is a home dog of 3 or more, like the Jets and Washington, like the Jets week 14, like Washington and Philly week 15, it's been 38.2% over under, 34 and 53. So second meeting, play the unders. If in the second meeting the team that lost is a home dog, it's been a very powerful under.
Wow, that's awesome. Keep that in mind for the upcoming weeks. That is always great stuff from Ralph. We appreciate him taking time to come on, bet on it. It is time for us to take a quick break. When we return, that's right, we're walking those dogs. We got some of those money line sprinkles, and I have a feeling Marco's not going to like some of these trends.
Yeah, but Marco's been doing all right. So, you know, Marco's got the fat and sassies, right?
He does, and he sure thinks that there's a team on here that is not even fat and sassy, just an ugly road favorite, so I can't wait for you guys to see that one.
It's been a remarkable year at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, and we have you, our loyal followers, to thank for our growth and success. From our WagerTalk and Sports Memo families, we want to say thanks and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. In the spirit of giving thanks, we're going to have special pricing all during the Thanksgiving holiday. Every play at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com will be priced at just $9 instead of the normal $25 or $40 prices. This special will run from Thanksgiving Day through Monday, December 2nd. Again, happy Thanksgiving from everyone here at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Looking for NBA betting information? Then check out WagerTalk's new NBA tip-off show hosted weekdays by Joe Ranieri. Joe will go over any big movements from the overnight lines or morning openers. Joe will be joined daily by different WagerTalk and Sports Memo cappers who will break down the daily card, pointing out trends, angles, and winning situations for that day's action. They'll also give out live underdog plays, the play of the night, along with their best bets and even some prop bets. Tune in Monday through Friday for the NBA tip-off show exclusively on WagerTalk TV.
Welcome back. This is my favorite portion of the show, barking dogs and best bets. Let's get to the barking dogs first. Marco, I'm going to start with you. Who you got barking?
Got an ugly one.
They're usually, why do we always have the rabid dogs? Seriously, it's so true. They're usually ugly. Hold your nose. It's scary.
This one came very close to being the trap game as well.
Oh, okay.
And the reason, and I'm going to start with the fact, it's the Green Bay New York Giants game. And you were kind of hinting to it when you're saying the look-ahead line was 7.5. Okay, we saw them get spanked on Sunday Night Football, but they got spanked by a very good team. We saw the Giants get a backdoor cover. They lost, but they didn't do anything most of that game against the Mitchell Trubisky Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
The only reason they were able to get the backdoor in that game was the fact that Trubisky can't get separation on anybody, okay? All right, so I look at this one, and they bring this out at 6.5. The books know they're going to get tons and tons of teaser money on the Green Bay Packers. Why did they bring this out at 6.5? If it was 7.5, even if you moved it to anything,
we talked about this during the look ahead lines, right? It makes no sense.
It smells trappy. They're begging you to take the Green Bay Packers here.
Doing more than begging under a touchdown.
Yes, that's the point.
They're giving away free money.
And I'm not buying it. Green Bay has, are you ready for this? How many teams are in the NFL?
32.
They're 31st defensively, allowing 6.4 yards per play. Now, that went up dramatically last week because the 49ers were getting a lot of big chunk plays last week. But on the road, their numbers are even worse. All of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers now has had back-to-back bad games on the road. It's only a 2-game sample size, but if you can get pressure on him, he gets rattled. Now, he went against a good defense last week, the 49ers.
Yes.
He's not doing that this week. But still.
Giants rush the football. If they run the football successfully, they'll win.
That's the key. Green Bay cannot stop the run. And I'm going to look at this one.
No, they can't stop much of anything. That defense is Swiss cheese.
It is. And, they got to be able to, and the Giants need to run the football because they want to shorten the game and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. And, for just a little sidebar, head coach Pat Shurmur was with Minnesota on that coaching staff. So he faced the Green Bay Packers twice a year, every year. So he's got a leg up on how to defend and prepare for them. I like him, and you want one more NFL league-wide stat. We like these league-wide stats as opposed to just a team one because it's a bigger sample size. Last 5 years, play against favorites, which would be Green Bay, after a game in which they trailed by 14 or more points at the half. That angle, it's happened 97 times the last 5 years, 67-30 against the spread, fading teams in that situation.
You're not lying. The Giants are really ugly. Just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 games in MetLife.
But you know what? Even ugly dogs are lovable.
Ugly.
You love ugly dogs? I only like really pretty dogs because I'm superficial. So.
You have not seen ugly. I love ugly dogs. I like picking.
Oh wait, are you insinuating that your dog is uglier than his dog?
Oh, his is beautiful.
All right,
His is the prom queen this week.
All right, VR, you're up.
Yeah. Okay. Remember that movie Roadhouse?
Yes.
Right. What was the bouncer's name? Right.
Patrick.
Dalton. Wasn't it Dalton?
Oh, Dalton.
We're gonna bet
Patrick
on Dalton
Swayze.
this week, baby, because Cincinnati needs a win so badly that in comes Andy Dalton this week to save the city and the state of Ohio.
Rifle, not the Red Rocket.
He is there to save Cincinnati.
Dogs, Marco.
He has one job. That's it. To save us from a winless
From
city.
the bagel.
That's it. That's his only job. And I believe Dalton is capable because the Jets fall under the same situation as the Atlanta Falcons that I touched on last week. And what I tell you about Atlanta, I know we're impressed about the last 2 or 3 weeks, but let's take a step back and look over the last 12. Well, when we look over the last 12 of the Jets, it's pretty similar to looking over the last 12 of last week's. It was a steam play. Same difference. Ugly dog Cincinnati. Dalton gets his first win at home against the Jets. I like it. I like Dalton, baby.
You guys, my heart's pounding really hard because I'm nervous for all of these.
Beautiful puppy.
But there's a lot of really nice dogs out there this week, and you guys picked the 2 worst ones.
That's what we do.
You got one?
I'm looking at your ugly Steelers, but they're just a baby dog. Maybe. I already mentioned I like the Vikings. I like the Vikings on the road, but they're not an ugly dog.
Dude, I took a mutt. Mine's like.
There's some ugly ones there. Okay.
That's the last one at the shelter.
Right?
Oh, stop. My girl was the last one at the shelter, and now she's the best dog ever. And I'm not talking about Coco, because clearly she's not a shelter dog. She's a purebred. She should be at the Westminster Dog Show, snorting away. Okay, fine.
You don't have kids to put through college, but you could have put one through college on what you've spent on Coco.
Coco is my little BMW, and it's just fine. I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't need money in my bank account because I have the love of a French bulldog, okay? All right, guys. It is. You ready? Are we ready? We ready? Best bet time. I'm ready. Okay. I'm going to go first. I don't want to go first. I changed my mind. VR, you're going to go first.
Yeah, mine's going to be quick because last week I made the mistake of, I said coming in, my bet I loved the most was San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. I had already unloaded. I had already given them out as my 5% play on Wager Talk. I love that side, but I want to give you a bonus, and I like the Rams as well on Monday night, and I bet them big also. I'm not going to lie. So I ended up losing with that one. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what we're going to do this week. I'm going to stick to the side I like the most, and the one that I, so far, have the most money on this week, at least intending to have the most money on, and that's the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks, who are as overvalued as they come heading into this week. I don't want to hold up more of your time.
You got plenty time.
Because we broke this game down. But it's just a great spot, I think, where for Minnesota, and when you look at Seattle again, I think the fact that they looked good last week against Philadelphia gives us even more value. And I made the mistake of thinking Philadelphia would be able to pose a threat at home. I fell for that too, and seeing them go to the dog. And Seattle got the job done. And because of that, you're paying a little bit too high of a price here. I think Minnesota gets the win outright, so +3 is a gift. That's my best bet.
Seattle didn't win last week. Philadelphia lost.
Yeah, well
Facts.
said.
Is that what happened on last night? The Rams lost that game. The Ravens didn't blow them out.
No. That one was
that was a
different.
beating.
That
Yeah,
one
it was
was
an
that
old-fashioned
I'm
whipping.
going to get this is what I get on social media. You're an idiot for betting against Belichick, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I bet against him twice. I bet against him 3 times out, and 2 out of 3 I won. That's making
That's
money.
67%.
Yeah. Retire.
I bet against the Ravens for the first time last night. I'm going to do it again.
Do it,
again
Kelly.
on
Have
Sunday.
the guts to do it. You know you're going to get bashed and say, how are you standing in front of the Ravens?
That's exactly what everybody said last night, right? And
Do
I didn't even watch it. I was at
think you're
dinner
so
on my
right.
3rd bottle of wine. So it was less painful.
It was over in 7 minutes.
It's exactly. It wasn't even over that. As soon as they scored the first touchdown, I'm like, well, this is not happening.
No team
This San
finer.
Francisco defense is exactly what I said it was when they played Green Bay. They were one of the best defenses in the country. This team is not getting respect. We talked about Seattle, and you kind of joked about them not being true. The Niners lost that game to Seattle. They had ample opportunity. Jimmy G was not on his mark. You know when he was on his mark? That was against the Packers on Sunday, and he will be against probably the guy that's going to win the MVP for the regular season, Lamar Jackson. This could very well be a Super Bowl matchup.
He was
in the making.
75-1 at the beginning of the season
I'm telling
for
you.
MVP. In Westgate,
Nuts.
talk to your buddy John. They have some tickets
It's their
on.
biggest liability.
Yeah.
They are terrified of him winning this thing.
Unless he breaks a leg, he's winning.
He's winning it. And all that West Coast team playing the early East Coast, like you're hearing all that.
Well, it's actually not. It's the 1 o'clock game on the West Coast.
Oh, the San Fran.
Yeah,
and-
San
and
Fran.
Baltimore?
It's not
I
10
like-
a.m.
Oh, great.
I know, so that helps.
More
If
sense.
it
yeah.
was at 10 a.m., I would be a little more nervous.
I wouldn't, man. I think these players
It
now
looks
are
like there's
so
going to
used
be
to that.
a little bit of wind, a little bit of rain. We know Lamar Jackson has the legs to do it, but I got to
like
step
it.
in front
I
of
think
the
the line's too high.
overvalued Ravens here. I think you're absolutely right. They're hot. They're probably going to win this game, but San Fran has played great on the road all year, and I'm banking on them playing great on the road on Sunday.
There's value with you on San Francisco, no question about it.
I just think it's too many points.
But I've said that 2 weeks
You're
in a
not
row.
standing in front of them.
You know, Sunday, I may end up getting some money down on that game Sunday. But
I asked you
just
right
don't
here
know.
last week. You think Baltimore is
Well, I-
legit? And you're like, I'm not
No.
standing in front of them.
No, I did. I stood in front of them yesterday.
Oh,
and they,
did you?
Oh, yeah. I was on the
Now I
Rams.
feel bad.
No, we were all on the Rams.
them.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and you're going to lose games in terrible fashion, and then you're going to have rocking chair winners like we did on Sunday night. So it comes and it goes, and I think this is going to be an absolute and utter dogfight, but I think the Niners are worth just a little bit.
I like it.
Little sprinkle?
I agree 100%.
All right, now, me and VR's got to get in a fight here.
So VR and I
You're
have.
fading me for my best bet?
Wait, what? We just talked about this in the green room. You're not
No.
supposed to do this.
No.
Because then Twitter gets mad.
But it's not your best bet. It's your
My dog?
Your dog.
Okay,
Oh, okay,
Your
well,
dog,
that's
your dog.
different.
Yeah,
As
your dog.
ugly as
Okay.
Cincinnati is, I can't really blame you,
promised
Mark.
Twitter, I promised Twitter we weren't going to go to head-to-head on best bets anymore
Okay.
because then we look
It's
like not nice
confusing,
people.
yeah.
It's just
Well, we look like nice people all the time. There's somebody that's unless we win every single game on the show, we're not going to make somebody
I just
happy.
don't think they're right. Like if they just come for our best bets, we should give them truly our best bets, and it does suck when they're conflicting because then you only have basically one best bet to bet.
I'm going with the Jets, Jets. And
on the road, laying points.
On the road,
this
laying
looks
points.
like this looks like the Lions at the Redskins last week, where I didn't have the guts to touch it, and after the Redskins won, I'm like, I knew the Redskins were the right side.
Well, this is what you're going to hear all week, and I'm surprised you didn't bring it up in your analysis because this is going to be to your favor. Look at the three teams they beat. They beat the New York Giants with a rookie quarterback. They beat Washington with a rookie quarterback that's really bad, and then they beat Oakland, who was traveling to the East Coast. With a big look-ahead game the following week against Kansas City. Oh, my God, it couldn't get any easier. Well, you know what? Yeah, but you can only play what's put in front of you, okay? Everybody, and the one thing that I disagree with you that you said in your analysis was look at the full 12-game sample size. You got to remember, the first 4
with
games of the
Darnold
season,
also.
Okay,
Right.
they had no quarterback. Darnold had
Right.
mono the first game and was horrible. Then there was 3 games that he didn't play and they were horrible. Then he was seeing ghosts. I mean, for God's sake, the man. Okay, what do you expect? He had to get exercised. They got him exercised.
Makes
Now
sense.
he's not seeing ghosts anymore. He's seeing touchdowns.
I see the argument.
34 points, 3 straight games, okay? I don't care if you're playing bad teams or not. You still put up 34 points the last 3 weeks. Cincinnati had an opportunity to win last week against a banged-up Pittsburgh Steelers team that had a quarterback that just had a concussion 3 weeks ago and then got hit over the head with a helmet. Without his center, okay, and they still couldn't score, so they went quack, quack, called the duck hunter in, and Hodges comes in and goes 3 for 3 on the drive for 91 yards for them to win the game. Cincinnati they're a train wreck, in my opinion, and the desperate move back to Andy Dalton, I'm sorry, you told Andy Dalton, go sit down, you're not good anymore. Now you're telling them, you know what, we haven't won a game, come back.
I do agree with that. I don't think that that's the right move. Now, granted, I'm not getting paid millions of dollars to coach an NFL team, but it's the same thing in college. I think it's kind of emasculating, and it really damages egos, which is kind of a quarterback
This is a coach,
forte.
to me, saying, I'm in trouble. I'm trying to
Zach
save my
Taylor's
job.
trying to save his
I'm
job.
trying to save my job. I ain't doing it. The Jets have the 5th best defense in the league, allowing 5.1 yards per play, while Cincinnati has the worst defense, 32nd in the league. I'm taking the Jets is my best bet.
I think I'm going to sit that one out. All right, we're going to step out. You guys are stressing me out today. We're going to step out for a quick break, and when we return, it's our final thoughts on this week's NFL action. And oh, by the way, if you guys are in town this weekend, make sure you come down to the Westgate. We'll buy you a couple beers, maybe some pizza, and Marco got some sweet swag that we get to hand out.
Hey guys, I'm Lawrence Presman, the Prez, co-founder of Wager Talk. Excited that you're all watching Bet On It. Just want to tell you guys about our hockey show, Puck Time. It's honestly the best show that I do all week. We do it with all of the hockey talent over at Wager Talk and Sports Memo, from Alex B. Smith to Dave Koken, Carmine Bianco, Buster Sports, myself, and Andrew McGinnis. Different co-hosts every day. It's hockey all the time, and it's one of the best sports to bet on, and certainly the most exciting sport to watch. Check us out 2 p.m. Eastern every day, Monday to Friday, at Wager Talk TV.
Okay, it's that time of the show. Time to recap everything we just went through. Let's touch on those primetime games Sunday and Monday night. Marco likes the over in the New England-Houston game. VR said that his guys played New England -3, and I don't disagree with that. We'll see how high that one gets before I actually want to get involved with Bill O'Brien, which probably means it needs to be like 6.5. All right, Monday night, we all three like the Vikings. That makes me happy because I already played that one.
We all three liked the Rams last night, too.
Okay, thanks for the reminder and just bursting my bubble. Marco is a Scorpio, you guys. He likes to be super negative. I, on the other hand, am a Sagittarius, so I'm super positive and like to manifest good things. Go Vikings.
You just got out of the Scorpio
I got out of the crazy side. All right, let's move along to the steam. Oh, I'm sorry, the teasers. I always forget about the teaser segment. And it's so good, too. You guys have been killing these teasers.
And we can use you for the graphic in that one, too.
Yes. All right, both guys like Pittsburgh. Marco's betting on the Denver Broncos to keep it within a touchdown, hopefully, of the Chargers. VR thinks get Minnesota up to 9 is the right play here. And I agree with all three of these. Next up, we got the steam and the trap game. Why Marco thinks Jacksonville's a trap is beyond me. Looks just so easy to take Tampa Bay. VR said the steam in the Buffalo-Dallas game over 45 is the right move. And of course it is, because Dallas has just been crushing overs this year. So I agree with that steam. Next up, we've got some barking dogs in the NFL. Cincinnati for VR. He's going head-to-head here with Marco here in a second. And Marco, yuck, that is a rabid dog. But
He got rabies shot.
He's fine. He's going to be fine. New York Giants to cover, probably not beat the Packers. That would be pretty shocking. And last but not least, time for some best bets. As I mentioned, Marco going head-to-head with VR. He likes the New York Jets -3.5. VR, that was Minnesota Vikings. I can't wait. And yep, that's me. I'm the one stepping in front of Lamar Jackson, the Lamar Jackson train. And hopefully I just don't get railroaded, because that is scary, or ran over by his intense athletic ability. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show as much as we did doing it. From myself, VR, Marco, good luck. And until next week, let's bet on it. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button, as VR likes to say. Click the little bell to get notified of all of the new bet on it's each and every time they come out. Share those on social media. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in. We appreciate all the awesome comments. If you have a nice comment, leave it below. If you don't, feel free to tweet it. And Marco, we'll talk about you on the show.